Hey guys, this is a tutorial for an app I'm building right now called AudioWizard. And this is our official website. What this app is trying to do is to make the creation of audio drama or multicast audiobooks with sound effects, with background music, much easier compared to before. So basically, you need to provide the text of the novel that you are interested in, and you are able to use our tool to create a highly customized, high quality multicast audiobook. If you want to see some examples, we provide one right here in our official website. So this is the end product of our app. The text input is here, which is a novel that I copied from some website, and this is the audio drama output. Let's listen to some of it.
Now, 9 days until Bridget's wedding. I study the illustration on the table in front of me, frowning. It's more detailed than my typical sketches.
From here, you can see there are background music and there's some sound effect of this narrator looking at the sketches.
Sometimes, just to show off, I'll whip up a simple line drawing.
And let's see some of the other characters. For example, here we have a new character called Farah.
And various other arrangements are lined up together.
You've got so much plant material here, there may not be room for the guests.
Farah has a manner.
Yeah, as you can see, for each character, there is a track. So in this story, we have narrator, we have Farah, we have Anastasia, and some of the other characters. We also have sound effect in one track and BGM in another track. And we also create a one-one mapping. In the left-hand side, there is a text, and the right-hand side, there is timestamps on this multi-track audio. So this makes the manipulation of the audio drama you're creating much easier compared to some of the more basic tools like a simple TTS tool. What we provide is much more than that. Okay, now let's jump right into it. Okay, so for demonstration purpose, let's select the scene from Peter Pan, which is a super well-known children's book. We selected the scene where Peter Pan and Captain Hook has the last fight. So let's just copy this paragraph, which I translated from the original text into modern English to AudioWizard. Next, let's click Transform to Screenplay. So what this button does is that you transform your raw text into Screenplay, where we automatically detected all the characters and narrators as well as their corresponding dialogues. We just did some proofreading for the transformed screenplay, which mostly consists of 3 parts. One is that sometimes lots of the character names are actually referring to the same person. For example, we have the newcomer, and I take a look at the original text and notice that the newcomer actually is referring to Peter Pan. So I just manually make the change here. The second is that there are lots of these sentences like he said, she said. I remove that the whole dialogue such that the whole audio drama will be more immersive. The third is that sometimes the narrator has a super long dialogue, so this is a little bit too long. So I split it into 2, so that if we need to regenerate part of this for some reason, we don't need to generate it twice. We only need to generate it once to de-risk. So those are mainly the things that I just did. Now that we have a screenplay, let's assign voices. So what this button does is that it will assign the most appropriate voice for each character, but we can also customize it as we wish. Let's do that right now.
The name is Jack, and I've got...
We lost because we told ourselves we lost.
I think it's better to assign this voice to the pirate. As for Captain Hook, let's try
I believe that we are fundamentally the same.
I'd rather regret the thing.
If you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've... God has given you one face.
Life without love is like a tree without blossoms or fruit.
I think this one fits the best. Then let's do Mulin's.
We lost because we told ourselves we lost.
I'd rather...
If you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've...
It is not so important to know everything.
Love all, trust a few, do wrong to none.
God has given you one face, and you make yourself another.
Let's use the same one. Peter.
Hey, Dad, I did all my chores today. Can I go hang out with my friends, please? Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think we have a like a younger voice for the boys. So this teenager voice, let's just use this, even though technically Peter Pan is not a teenager. But let's just use this. Narrator.
There's power in looking silly and not caring.
The thing always happens that you really believe in.
I really like this Brian's voice for narrator, so that's a personal preference. Let's just use that. The Lost Boys. Let's see. Show female.
A man is not old as long as he's seeking something.
I'd rather regret the things that I have done.
Friends show their love in times of trouble, not in happiness.
Let's use Harry. Okay, now we finished the voice selection. Let's move to the next stage. Now let's click the Generate Voice button. What this button does is that it will generate a voiceover for each single dialogue with the corresponding voices for the character that we just selected. Let's do that right now. Now let's listen to each single dialogue and make adjustments as necessary. For each dialogue, we have 5 control buttons here. The first control button is a selection of emotions. If you're not happy with the default emotion that is assigned to this dialogue, we are able to make any adjustments as necessary. And the second one is the volume bar. We are able to control the loudness of a dialogue. The third is the speed. We are able to make the voiceover faster or slower. The fourth is a play button. We are able to listen to the voiceover and see whether we are happy with it. And the fifth is the regenerate button. So what this button does is that if you want to make any adjustments to the character name, to the assigned voices, to the dialogues, or to the emotions, we're able to keep regenerating until we are happy with the AI generated voice. We just did some fine-tuning for the audio of each dialogue to make it sound exactly what we wish it to be. Let me give you some examples. So for example, for this dialogue by the Lost Boys, I want the AI-generated voice to have an emphasis on the word hook. So I modify the text to have it capitalized and regenerate it.
I, a man with a hook!
Now it sounds pretty good. And for example, in this dialogue, I want it to have some pause in the middle, after maybe, and have a pause after try. and I also wanted to sound a little bit anxious, so that's why I modified the emotion here. I regenerated it, and then I modified the volume to 0.5 to have a lower voice.
Might be worth a try.
Okay, one more example would be, yes, this dialogue. One thing I did is I capitalized the use and joy to make sure you have the emphasis. And also for this one, even after I capitalize these two words, I need about 3 to 4 retries to make it sound exactly as what you wish it to be. This is normal from time to time because AI generated voice are not really deterministic. You just need to try it several times to get what you're looking for.
I am youth. I am joy.
Okay, now let's jump to the next section. By clicking the Apply Voice button, we will map the voiceovers that we just generated to multiple soundtracks. From there, you can get an overview of how our generated soundtracks sounds like. Now let's play this audio.
To the pirates, the voice sounded like it was shouting that all the boys had been killed in the cabin, and they were thrown into a panic. Hook tried to rally them, but like the wild dogs he had turned them into, they bared their teeth at him, and he realized that if he looked away for even a moment, they would attack him.
Listen up, boys,
he said, ready to sweet-talk or fight as the situation demanded, but never showing fear for even a second.
I figured it out. There's someone on board bringing us bad luck.
Aye, a man with a hook.
No, boys, no, it's the girl. A ship's never had good fortune with a woman aboard. Things will go right once she's gone.
Some of them remembered that Flint used to say something similar.
Might be worth a try.
They muttered uncertainly.
Throw the girl overboard.
Hook shouted, and they charged at the figure in the cloak.
No one can save you now, girl.
Mullins hissed mockingly.
Someone can.
Who?
Peter Pan, the Avenger.
Came the chilling answer. As he spoke, Peter threw off his cloak. Suddenly, they all realized that he was the one who had sabotaged them in the cabin. Hook tried to speak twice, but could not get the words out. I believe his fierce heart broke in that terrible moment. At last, he shouted,
Split him, from chest to belly.
But there was no real force behind it.
Get down there, boys. Attack them.
Peter's voice echoed. In the next instant, the clash of swords roared throughout the
Alright, as we can see, this sounds pretty good. But during this process, if you find anything you want to modify, for example, in some dialogues you want it to be a little bit different in style compared to what it is right now, we're always able to get back to the Screenplay section, where you can regenerate each dialogue that you want to modify. Then click the Apply Voice button again to go back to this multi-track audio section. To create a truly immersive experience for the listeners, sound effects are necessary for any audiobooks. And let's do that right now by clicking this sound effects button. In the sound effects section, our in-house AI will automatically detect any relevant sentences and assign sound effect descriptions. For example, in here, in this sentence, and they charge at a figure in the cloak, the relevant sound effect that is inferred is footsteps running on a hard surface. We are always able to make edits on existing sound effects. We're able to delete any existing sound effects, and we are able to also assign any sound effects corresponding to any sentences that you want. And we are also able to support sound effect descriptions for multiple dialogues, like this. Now let's make some edit. Now that we have the text description for the sound effects corresponding to each dialogue ready, let's click the Generate Sound Effect button such that we are able to generate audio corresponding to the text descriptions of the sound effects. Okay, now let's fine-tune the sound effect. So to do that, we have lots of options here. If you want to delete any existing sound effect, you can click the Delete button. If you want to play any sound effect, click the Play button. If you want to modify the text description of a sound effect, you can always make edits here and then click regenerate. Also, if you want to add another new sound effect, you can always go back to the text and then select the sound effect that you would like to generate along with certain sentences. For example, let's say I want to generate a sound effect along with this, at last he shouted, all the way to get on there, boys. You could just do something like this. Select it, click add sound effect, add some new sound effect descriptions, and then of course you need to click the regenerate button in the sound effects section to the right. Okay, now let's do this. Okay, now that we finished the fine-tuning of sound effects, let's click this Apply Sound Effect button such that we are able to apply the sound effect as one of the soundtracks in Multitrack audio section. Okay, we can see that there is a new sound effect track. Let's listen to the updated audiobook and see whether there are any improvements.
Pirates, the voice sounded like it was shouting that all the boys had been killed in the cabin, and they were thrown into a panic. Hook tried to rally them, but like the wild dogs he had turned them into, they bared their teeth at him, and he realized that if he looked away for even a moment, they would attack him.
Listen up, boys,
he said, ready to sweet-talk or fight as the situation demanded, but never showing fear for even a second.
I figured it out. There's someone on board bringing us bad luck.
Aye, a man with a hook.
No, boys, no, it's the girl. A ship's never had good fortune with...
Boys, attack them!
Peter's voice echoed. In the next instant, the clash of swords roared throughout the ship. If the pirates had stuck together, they surely would have won. But they were still shaken and ran in every direction, slashing wildly, each one believing he was the sole survivor. Man to man, the pirates were stronger, but they only defended themselves. This let the Lost Boys pair up to pick their targets. Some of the scoundrels jumped overboard. Others hid in dark corners where Slightly found them. He did not fight. Instead, he ran around with a lantern and flashed it in their eyes, blinding them so they became easy prey for the bloody swords of the other boys. Little could be heard besides the ring of steel, the occasional scream or splash, and Slightly steadily counting 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Okay, this sounds pretty good. If you are interested, we are also able to generate the background music for this audiobook. Let's give it a try. Based on the context, we will automatically infer the most appropriate text descriptions for this, for the background music. Click this button, then let's listen to it and see whether it fits the theme. Let's try another one. I think it sounds pretty good. Okay, so for this background music section, actually, it is not, it is a little bit restrictive at this moment because we are only able to generate a background music, one background music, about 20 seconds, and then we will loop this throughout the whole audiobook. We will provide more flexibility later. Now let's apply music and see whether it works.
To the pirates, the voice sounded like it was shouting that all the boys had been killed in the cabin, and they were thrown into a panic. Hook tried to rally them, but like the wild dogs he had turned them into, they bared their teeth at him, and he realized that if he looked away for even a moment, they would attack him.
Listen up, boys,
he said, ready to sweet-talk or fight as the situation demanded.
One can save you now, girl.
Mullins hissed mockingly.
Someone can.
Who?
Peter Pan, the Avenger.
Came the chilling answer. As he spoke, Peter threw off his cloak. Suddenly, they all realized that he was the one who had sabotaged, no real force behind it.
Get down there, boys! Attack them!
Peter's voice echoed. In the next instant, the clash of swords roared throughout the ship. If the pirates had stuck together, they surely would have won. But they were still shaken and ran in every direction, slashing wildly, each one believing he was the sole survivor. Man to man, the pirates were stronger, but they only defended themselves. This let the Lost Boys pair up to pick their targets. Some of the scoundrels jumped overboard. Others hid in dark corners where Slightly found them.
I think this sounds pretty good. At this moment, hopefully you guys have already learned how to use AudioWizard in an effective manner. Let me finish by introducing a few more functionalities that I feel like should be helpful to you. First is the download button. Click this button and then you will have two choices, combined track and separate tracks. Click the combined track will help you download a soundtrack that combines every single independent tracks. Well, if you click the separate tracks, we will actually download a zip file. And in this zip file, if you unzip it, you will get a folder that includes every single independent soundtracks. Next is the share button. If you click the share button, we will share this audiobook clip in this community showcase section. And finally is the My Project section, where for every single project you have ever worked on, it will always be saved and tracked in the My Project section, and you can always resume and make any modifications as necessary. Okay, thank you so much for watching this tutorial for AudioWizard. If you're interested, please register and try AudioWizard yourself. If you have any questions, please reach out to me in the comment section, sending us an email or join our Discord. The website link, the email, and the Discord invite links will be all added below. In the following weeks, we will also upload several videos that demonstrate high-quality audiobook clips, completely made from AudioWizard, of course including the Peter Pan audio clip that we just made together. Stay tuned and see you in the future videos.